America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for another amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. I am excited to be here with you today. I'm just happy that Crystal is here with us on Clubhouse, and I see Ernest and Kiran. Thank you all for joining us. And I also see that we have a few people joining us on YouTube as well. My name is Simon Okelo. For those who are meeting me for the first time, I am originally from Kisumu, Kenya, and I am in Seattle, Washington as we speak. And every day we gather here for the Daily African Proverbs, which is being recorded for the African Father in America podcast. And we gather here so that we can make our ancestors proud, we can make them smile, and we also gather here to learn something, to gain some African wisdom that we can then take away with us, just to continue building ourselves to be better as individuals, as community, as leaders. So the three primary lessons that I'm hoping we can learn after our conversation today are: number one, how to believe in yourself; number two, how to be prepared to work hard; and number three, how not to be afraid to be different, how to be fearless. So those are some of the themes that we are going to explore today. How do you live a life where you're fearless, but you're still aware of all the dangers that you have to deal with while you're living this life? So that's what I'm excited to discuss today. I would love to invite all of you who are in the audience on Clubhouse to join us on the stage. At 6:30 a.m. we are going to turn off hand raising. So this is a good time for you to join us, but also share the link to this room here within Clubhouse, and also share it on Twitter, on Instagram, and also clip some of the nuggets that you're getting from today's conversation and share it as well. And again, thank you, M. Jewel, for joining us on the YouTube side of things. I'm just so grateful that you're here. I want to pin this proverb for those who are on Clubhouse so that you can at least read it. It's my pinned tweet, so I'm grabbing it from my Twitter account. Typically on Thursdays, I usually host Gogo Rutendo Ngara, who is a renowned spiritual, African spiritual leader, and she's a well-educated leader as well, that has lived across the diaspora, originally from Zimbabwe, but she currently lives in South Africa. And for weeks, at least 6 months, she has been joining me for these sessions weekly, every Thursday, and I've been learning so much from her. But today in South Africa, there is what we call power rationing, where electricity is made available for different parts of the country on specific days of the week. And so right now, the region of South Africa where she lives does not have electricity. So Ernest, I'm just going to mute you while we are in this part of the session. And feel free to ping in 3 to 5 people to join us for this conversation. Again, the proverb says, the bush in which you hide has eyes. The bush in which you hide has eyes. And, I just want to share a story that growing up in Kenya, I grew up in Kisumu, Kenya, and sometime we used to do projects as I was growing into my teenage, my 20s. I was very much involved with community building projects, and sometime I would be working in a place called Mbita. It's a very rural part of Kenya. It's also along Lake Victoria, and it's very close to Rusinga Island, where Lucy was, the remains of the Homo sapiens. One of the oldest remains of us as human beings or man were found in this island called Rusinga, and so it's very close to Mbita, where I used to work, but also that's where my mother comes from. And there, for a while, there were no toilets. In fact, I took a lot of American friends to visit some of the work we were doing in Mbita, and they had a very hard time using the toilets there, because either you had to squat to use the toilet, there was no running water, or you had to go to the bush outside. People would wake up early in the morning so that you are the first one to go and find yourself a bush where you can go and help yourself. So, there was, because you had to go and help yourself when it was still dark, this proverb, the bush in which you hide has eyes, reminds me of those moments where, you'd think that you're hiding somewhere and helping yourself, and you turn around just a little, then you see someone also helping themselves. So it was just funny. But we were always told this saying that, if you are helping yourself in the bush, do not use the leaves right next to you, because it could be the ears of someone that you're pinching. So this was just a proverb that took me down memory lane, but still I want to bring it back to the three themes that I'm hoping we can gain some wisdom and take away with us. My hope is that after our conversation, you can leave this conversation just believing more in yourself, that you can be prepared to work hard, because there's nothing that is going to be handed over to you. And so, what this proverb is trying to tell us is that there's no excuse that is going to help you from being responsible and doing what you need to do to help yourself. Nobody's going to help you from your situation. You have to stand up and work hard, and don't think that somebody is going to feel how you feel and come and help you. But people are going to see that you're staying the same, you're not pushing yourself. Even you're going to realize that at some point. So this proverb is just reminding us that, don't expect that even though people see you, they're going to do something about it. You have to be the one who, for example, in my case, I have to be the one hosting the Daily African Proverbs Monday to Friday, and just staying consistent with it, and not expecting anybody to do anything about it. And then if help comes, that's a bonus, And then the third idea that I wanted to present is that you should not be afraid to be different. For example, if the bush in which you hide has eyes, so what? You can be fearless and you can move on, whether you're being seen moving at your own pace. So there are many ways you can interpret this particular proverb, and that's very similar to how you can interpret most of the other proverbs that I normally bring here, with the help of my amazing team, Stella, Steve, and of course Tess, and even all of you in the room right now, and everyone who is watching on YouTube. All of you contribute immensely to making this possible. And again, I know there are some of you who love being here on Thursday, because I normally host Gogo Rutendo Ngara, but today there's power rationing in South Africa. So, you will only have me as your host today, but we also have, my wonderful sister, Crystal Kikuyu, who is going to share with us her perspective on this proverb, and then we'll hear from Ernest and Eric. And I invite you all who are in the audience to also raise your hand and join us and share with us your perspectives. So Kikuyu, let us know where you're joining us from, and also, when you read this proverb, the bush in which you hide has eyes, what comes to your mind? And also, do you have any comments to everything I just said?
Yes. Yes, I'm Crystal. I'm sharing from Atlanta, Georgia, US today. Um, I really like this proverb, the bush in which you hide has eyes. Um, I think it calls to an accountability or a responsibility that we have to ourselves, um, to be ourselves despite like a lot of conditioning that's out here, to fit a box based on like how we show up in the world. Just because I appear to be a Black woman, there's a lot of connotations with that, that are placed on me, a lot of responsibilities that are placed or assigned to me of how I should show up based on how I look. Um, that conditioning reminds me of the bush and who I truly am. Who I truly am is always seen like by my higher self, by a higher power, and really tapping into that is what will allow me to not hide in that conditioning, hide in that bush. Um, I think I do feel like to be authentic is an act of fearlessness. So just to comment on your interpretation of it, um, yeah, I think stepping outside of your assignment of how you should show up is always going to leave you feeling a bit uncovered. You're going to be looked at as different. You may be perceived as weird for not showing up as everyone else. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here for living your truth and however that shows up. And it's not always received well, but those who truly, I feel like those who truly are tapped into their own higher selves and are not also so dedicated to living in facades or living in bushes will resonate with your authenticity. And so I do find community, I do find comfort in that, and that knowing that I will constantly be um, just using my machete to cut through bushes, peeling back layers of everything I've been conditioned to be, to tap into who I truly am. And the more that I operate from that space, the more that I will find a tribe that resonates with me. So yeah, that's just my interpretation of it. I really like this. Um, it's been a really thoughtful proverb for me that's very affirming of where I'm at. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Crystal. Yeah, I appreciate your contribution. And I want to also give a quick shout out to my brother Samini, who is here with us. Samini is an amazing brother that, is from Ghana, and is just a gifted artist, and, a brother that I have so much love and respect for. So thank you for being here. And Sensors and Piers and Dominic, Steve, Kai, thank you for joining us. We are here for the Daily African Proverbs, and typically on Thursdays, I've been saying that I love Thursdays because that's when I host Gogo Rutendo Ngara, who is, there are very few people I have met with that kind of knowledge of head. She has so much details that sometimes, I'm just amazed by listening to her. But today we are talking about a proverb from Equatorial Guinea. And this proverb says, the bush in which you hide has eyes. And so we are exploring it. I shared three themes that I came with for our conversation today. And the first one is believe in yourself. The second one is be prepared to work hard. And the last one is don't be afraid to be different. And, the hope is that you'll gain some level of fearlessness by the end of our conversation today. And I shared a story that I've never shared before at the beginning of our conversation today. So if you missed it, you might have to, listen to the replay or watch the YouTube live stream or listen to the African Father in America podcast, across all the podcasting platforms. I will not be repeating that story, but it's worth listening to, and it's related to this proverb. But now we want to listen to you, Ernest. I know that I'm probably seeing you for the first time on our stage. I think he's on the phone at the moment, so we'll go to Eric. Eric, how are you doing? Share with us where you're joining us from, and also what today's proverb means to you. If you caught any of my commentary at the beginning of the room, feel free to comment on them as well. And Ernest, I'll come to you as soon as you're done with your phone call.
I think he's off the phone. Ernest, you there? Okay, I'm assuming not. Good morning, Brother Simon. I just caught the I didn't catch the beginning. I'm at school. I have a training for the next 6 weeks, so it's always impossible to get into your room. But today's proverb, I saw it and I was like, let me jump in before I have to go and finish my continuing education. And so the bush in which you hide has eyes just brings a lot of meaning to me because um, when I think about who I am and the way I I've lived through this life, um, I've never thought of me being something that has any shame or has done anything to uh, how can I put it? Um, my values, my commitment, my relationship with others. I've never cared to where if they have eyes, so what, right? I know who I am. I know what I do. I know what I bring to the table. I know how transparent I am. And so those things have always um, made me fearless of uh, of of uh, of any eyes that are looking upon me or have anything to say about me. They they it just doesn't matter because everyone else who is in that bush or has seen what I do or has known who I am as a person will know that that is not true. And those are the things that have made me look into the future and shine and be able to not worry about those eyes. Um, there's a saying that says, um, "Do not cast stone on glass if you've done the same things over." And for me, it just comes down to um, just being fearless and being who you are and being and doing the right things all the time when no one is looking, right? And so if you're doing that and if you're committed to that, then it doesn't really matter who's in that, who has eyes on you or who's next to you with the same eyes looking upon you or has anything to say about you as a person, especially if you're the righteous person. And so it's a great proverb. It's something that I thought I'd come in the room and just sit back and listen and be able to support your room, Simon. So back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate you so much, especially considering your current schedule. So thank you for making the time, and also thank you for your contribution. If you're joining us here for the first time, this is the Daily African Proverbs. We do this Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are live streaming on YouTube and also here on Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, ping in 3 to 5 people to join us for this conversation. And if you are on YouTube, please share the link to the current live stream and also subscribe to my channel and push the thumbs up button so that when we are live again, you can catch this important conversation. The hope is that with this Daily African Proverbs, we continue helping preserve our culture one proverb at a time. We'll move on to you, Tess. I hope you're doing well. Where are you joining us from today? And what are your thoughts on this proverb?
Greetings to everybody and peace to the room. I am doing well, Simon. Thank you for asking. And I'm joining you from the living room. So, the proverb for today the bush in which you hide has eyes. I look at it from two different perspectives, and actually, like what Eric shared, because I grew up with my mom always telling me, do the right thing even when nobody's watching, because most of the times when you think nobody's watching, there is somebody watching somehow, somehow. So when you think about hiding, most people hide for various reasons. You hide from danger, or sometimes you hide from people knowing who you truly are. And so when you're thinking about the bush having eyes, and I like that the fact that the ancestors recognize that plants actually do have consciousness, they're living things. And so if you're hiding from danger and the bush has eyes, that's a very comforting fact because, well, if the bush has eyes, it can actually alert you of what's going on because when you're hiding, you really can't see properly. So that is a comforting fact. But when you're hiding because you've done something wrong and the bush has eyes, that's a very threatening thought to think about because, well, the bush is going to tell on you. So I look at it from two different perspectives. It just depends on why you're hiding and what you're hiding from.
Yeah, I love that. It just depends with why you're hiding and what you're hiding from. I love that. Thank you, Tess. And we'll go to you now, my brother. Brother, how are you doing today? Where are you joining us from? And what does this proverb mean to you? This proverb is from Equatorial Guinea.
Peace and love, family. This is Brother Earth. I'm calling from the North Carolina territory, and I'm doing well this morning, Simon. I hope all is well with you, man. And again, gratitude for keeping the ancestors' wisdom alive and sharing and bringing forth these proverbs every day during the week. And the last two people that spoke touch where I was gonna go with it as well. It's about having integrity. That's what I see when I read the proverb. And it's an old saying that old people used to say around me is, whatever's done in the dark eventually comes to the light. And then I also heard older guys used to all the time say, people watch you a lot more than they listen to you. So, regardless of the fact of, whether someone is watching or not, it's always about, like they were saying before, doing the right thing and having a good intention. And, and Marcus Garvey also said a righteous man shouldn't fear consequence. So long as you're moving in righteousness and doing what you should be doing, then you shouldn't really be hiding. But I come in love and I leave in peace, Brother Earth.
Thank you very much, Brother Arth. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for your presence and also your consistency. And I want to move on to Sensors here. And I want to welcome everyone who is joining us here for the first time. Thank you for taking your time. I would love to invite you to follow the African Father in America Club on Clubhouse and nominate 3 to 5 people to join the club as well. And also, if you are in the room on Clubhouse, I want to encourage you to ping in 3 to 5 people to join us for this conversation. And also, please, clip this conversation. If you're getting some nuggets, clip it and share it on Twitter, and we will amplify it over there. And if you are in the Clubhouse room as well, there are 2 other things you can do. One is you can share the link to this room within Clubhouse and also outside of Clubhouse on your Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp. And then finally, you can actually join us on YouTube through the link at the top of the room. Tap that link and join us on YouTube for a moment. We have a community that is growing over there. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, this is also a good time for you to do that. I appreciate the support. Now I want to move to you to Sensors. Sensors, how are you doing? And congratulations on winning the book yesterday, by the way. I mailed it, and I hope, you can put your hands to it. And we normally say in my tribe that whenever something good has happened to you, you send it to, your siblings or the elders, so that they can
Bless it.
they can put some saliva on it.
Yeah. Thank you, Simon. I can't wait for it to arrive so I can read it. And hello, everyone. Baby, congratulations. The baby is out, and baby is blessed with good genes because she looks like a runner after giving birth. Okay. So I am just so happy that finally she's gone through that process now. About the proverb, the bush in which you hide has eyes. Yep, I listened to the other comments that people said, and it really is true. We, I think first I want to put forward that there is no secret on earth, no secret at all, meaning something or someone is always listening. Second, if you think you are doing something because you don't see any eyes watching you, it doesn't make it any better, right? That you're doing it in hiding, therefore it's okay to do it. It doesn't make it any better. It's still there. It's still wrong. If it's something wrong, it's still wrong. That doesn't change that. So the bush that you're hiding, whether it's in your home or in your brain, it's always it has eyes. When you have thoughts that are destructive, they radiate into the universe. And that means you're also welcoming those bad thoughts into your life because there is energy in what you are saying, even under silence, even in darkness. There is energy in the words you speak. It's not about doing it in front of people. And that's what I can add in today. Thank you very much, and great to see you all here today.
Wonderful, wonderful, Sensors. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. And by the way, follow Sensors if you want to stay in tune with what we are doing with the Africa Day Club. We are resuming our programming there this Saturday, and we will continue on with our programming as we build up towards Africa Day. So if you want to learn more, connect with her. Bibi, how are you doing? How is the family? Where are you joining us from? And what are your perspectives on today's proverb?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Simon, for the room. Hi, Tess. Hi, Senses. And yes, I feel great. I'm right here with the baby right now in the room nursing her. And when I look at the proverb, the first thing that comes to mind is straight up integrity. And as everyone has shared, growing up, our parents always told us that just everything we do or wherever we are, whether we're doing something good or bad, um, there's somebody watching, and they always use either God or the trees have eyes, and so it's like it kind of made you conscious in a way, like when you're doing something bad, so you just gotta be conscious of to not do it, and it kind of pretty much kills it. So, but now as growing up, then you realize that they're teaching you how to have some integrity, and also like Tess and Census did mention that it's true. The bushes, they really do have eyes, and I'm saying that because it's like when you're in the forest hiding or just walking, some of the plants will react when you come close to them. They either sting you or they turn into different forms to protect themselves as well. So they do have senses, and also whenever you leave, there'll always be a footprint. So it's like whether you decide to do good or bad, you just have to be conscious and always aware. So it's like my take is just that always have integrity and be conscious of anything that you do. And that's my take. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bibi. I am just smiling here because, of course, because of everything you've said, and also, your depth of wisdom. But I'm also smiling because of, a comment I just saw on YouTube that I missed earlier, where M. Jewel was just saying, "Is this a go-go day?" And I realized how all of us have been so used to having go-go, Rutendo Ngara every Thursday. And she was the message she sent me. There are a few other meetings I was having with people in South Africa yesterday and today that were all cancelled because of power rationing. But the message she sent to me, she also wanted to be here, and it's just amazing how wonderful of a community we've built, especially on Thursdays. And I think next Thursday is going to be great because we've missed one Thursday and everybody's just going to come ready. If you have questions that you want me to send to Gogo so that she can address those next Thursday, please do. I think it would make it really interesting. If you have ideas of topics that you'd love to explore with her, I think it would also be interesting to share those with her. So MJL and Tess and anybody else who wants me to pass any ideas to Gogo, I would be open to that. Now, as we continue on with our conversation, again, thank you, Bibi, for your amazing contribution. We want to go on now to Meram, Princess Meram. How are you doing? And I know you changed your name, and I just want you to know that. Hold on, I just want to grab your name quickly. No, you'll have to tell me your real name because I'm just getting confused. How are you doing? Where are you joining us from? And what's your perspective on this proverb today, Meram? Okay. I'll pass the microphone to our next speaker just to give you time to unmute Meram. I do know Meram, but I think she just changed her name here, so I'll have to navigate to her Instagram.
It was Kandaka.
Yes. How are you doing?
We did a podcast together.
Yeah.
So my name got colonized by other people, and no one has this name right now, Meram. So I changed it.
Okay, no problem. So share with us your perspectives on today's proverb from Equatorial Guinea. This proverb says, "The bush in which you hide has eyes." What does it mean to you? And where are you joining us from?
Sorry, who's next? Is it Jay or Meram, Chef?
Oh, it's you.
Oh, oh, damn. Okay. So one thing I wanted to say, I don't know what they meant when they said it. Maybe they meant that when you hide inside a bush, you can see others, like the enemy, when they're coming to attack you. Or maybe they meant everything that you do, the bushes, the plants, I don't know, can see. But me personally, I believe the eyes of the plants are that they have a way of communicating with each other through an underground pathway of systems. They communicate with each other through vibration. This has been something that was, I can't remember the woman, but there was one scientist that proved that. They put technologies underground and they discovered that they have their own technology. For example, when a new baby tree is born, the oldest, tree in the forest will send ancient information to that baby of how to survive, and also they'll send more carbon dioxide. You know what I mean? If someone is lacking it or whatever. So they have their own way of communicating and helping each other in ways that we can't understand. And so I'm guessing they respond to our energy when we're around. That's all I had to say. But thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah, I love it. I love it. The beauty of the Daily African Proverbs is that it's a space where we learn and we share, different perspectives. So yours is deeply appreciated. And for those who are joining us for the first time, we are exploring a proverb from Equatorial Guinea. And the proverb says, "The bush in which you hide has eyes." And today we are exploring 3 topics around this proverb. Number 1 is how do you begin believing in yourself, and how do you stay believing in yourself and being consistent around that? How do you continue being prepared to work hard, no matter who is seeing? And then how do you live a life where you are not afraid to be different? You're not afraid to share your ideas publicly, experiment with them, fail, and start all over again. So our primary theme is, how do you live a life of fearlessness? And this proverb, the story I shared around it was the idea of me growing up in a place where sometimes you had to go and help yourself in the bush, and while you're hiding, you found a corner somewhere and you feel that this is a good spot, nobody's seeing me. And then you turn around slightly, you see somebody that you know very well, and they also see you, and you don't talk. But now you've discovered that nobody between the two of you, or even 3 or 4, were hiding. And there's another saying that while you're helping yourself out in the bush, which most of us used to do when it was already getting dark, do not use the leaves of the tree right next to you, because it could be the ears of your friend that you are grabbing, So, that's part of the story I shared at the beginning of this conversation. This proverb takes me down memory lane. Now, I want to go to Jay. Jay, thank you for waking up so early. Share with us where you're joining us from, and also what this proverb reminds you about, this proverb from Equatorial Guinea.
Well, thank you, Simon. Of course, I'm coming from Seattle as well, and I already have my mind made up on, how this proverb influenced me, what I thought about it, how I wanted to interpret it, and this listening to your story, I thought, well, maybe I'm not on the right track. But that was really, really, really funny, and
But
it's so true.
it's still a track, even if you're not on the right track, it's still a track, So we want to hear it.
Oh, I just love when people, you, Simon, and other people tell stories about experience that they've had growing up that I never was exposed to, and it's so fascinating to me. So anyway, the first thing that came to mind is that you can't hide from life. Um, that you might want to hide from pain, try and hide from loss or disappointment, maybe failures and hurts, and you just don't really get out of there. I guess I'm kind of going down your lane. So you really don't really get out there, and you're not being all that you can be and accomplish all that you can accomplish, and use all the gifts and talents that you actually have, because you're hiding from failure. Um, Yet you can see all there is that you can do, that you can achieve, but there is a fear that's holding you back, that's keeping you hiding within yourself and not exposing and opening up and living the abundant life that's meant for you, because of the fact that you're hiding from the potential of being successful. So that's what I thought, is that you can see it, but you don't have the courage to come out of your hiding spot, your safe place, and really go after what you were meant to do or what you were meant to be and accomplish. So that's what I'm saying. You can see it, but you're really not getting out there and doing it. You're not moving out of that comfort zone. This is Jay, and I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Wonderful, Jay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, and Jay is, a fascinating storyteller and also an amazing poet. So, and also one of the people that helped us, build the Daily African Proverbs. Tess is also another individual that, he helped us build this space, brick by brick, brick by brick. So, I'll always give you guys credit and shout outs and anything I need to do because of all the help that you still continue giving me with this work. Chris, thank you for being here. I am grateful that you're spending your time with us. Please share with us where you're joining us from and also your perspectives on this proverb from Equatorial Guinea. It says, "The bush in which you hide has eyes."
Thank you so much, Simon. Yeah, I'm calling in from Rome today. And I just want to echo my sisters, Beatrice and Jay, and their just excellent responses. Um, and just from my perspective, typically when you're running from something, you're kind of thinking on the fly about how you want to respond to the situation, and you're trying to, by like implicitly, you're trying to avoid showing others your location, things about yourself, and the bush having eyes is just, there is something to nature that pierces through the veil that you're trying to cover yourself with. In this case, a bush, right? There's something that, will observe you, and there's a truth to you, right? And just to kind of build on the ideas which were introduced by my sisters that just spoke. Um, I feel like in those moments where you are running from something, or precisely the moments where once you've reached some level of safety where you can think, where you just sit down and you actually plan, and plan on being the person that you want to be, not necessarily the person you are in that moment, and you go for it, and you just go, because I found that in those moments in my own life, planning and being intentional about how I want to respond to whatever the threat is that I'm hiding from, makes me the truest form of myself, and makes me less willing to hide, right, and being more willing to confront the danger head on. So anyway, that's my contribution. Thanks so much for letting me speak.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your contribution as well, Chris. Thank you for your presence as well. Hey, Chef, how are you? And what are your thoughts on today's proverb? Where are you joining us from? Thank you so much.
Good, good morning, family. I am joining you all out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm excited to be in this space and have the opportunity to reflect on today's quote. Okay, so I really enjoyed everything that's been going on in this conversation, but it was some of the things that, well, most recently Chris spoke about, but Jay and BB had spoke, and I wanted to kind of go off on that same tangent with them because it's kind of how this resonated with me as well. Um, Growing up, I grew up in a Christian school in this way, and I remember being taught this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And so one of the verses was, hide it under a bushel, no. I'm gonna let it shine. And before we even knew, what that meant, we was taught as kids to sing these songs and in this way. And then, you grow up, you live your life, and then you be like, okay, some of these things, And so that this quote is reminding me of that in the spirit of fearlessness, right? And remembering to shine. I think what Jay was saying, about using all that you have to accomplish all the things that God wants you to be, sometimes that can be terrifying, right? And when you're out in the open, right, when you're not in that bush and when you're out in the open and it's just nothing but space and time and opportunity, that can be a bit frightening, right? Because everything's so big and there's no limits. And so sometimes it's nice for us to be able to find a space to fit into, maybe in this case, a bush, right? Some of us do our best work on a pod, like what Jay was saying, you take your time to retreat, think about your master plan, but then also too, you got to get up and go, because when you sit for so long, it becomes uncomfortable, right? So Simon, you talking about being in that bush, you sitting there handling your business, but you don't sit for too long because it's gonna start to stink in a minute because everybody else, you know what I'm saying? So everybody else is sometimes have to go into a bush to do this and to do that for out of fear or this or that way. But a point that BB made that I wanted to go back to, and it was very powerful. She said, in terms of what those eyes meant for her, was the sticks and the little cuddle bugs and things like that, right? So when you sit in that bush and then it becomes uncomfortable because things are sticking you and things are pricking you. You're like, man, I got to get out this bush. I know it provided me a bit of comfort for a time, a bit of solace for a moment, but now it's becoming too painful, right? So at first we were scared to be out in the open, so we went into the bush to hide. And then when it comes to be too uncomfortable for you to stay in that that complacent place, then you have to move. So about being fearless in that way. And while we think we're hiding in the bush, those eyes, for me, that's God, right? I've been called to be and do something bigger than myself. And when I ignore God or when I ignore that, it's like a tap on my shoulder. It's like those plants in the bush that's poking me like, girl, you got to get up. You got something to do. You can't sit here for so long. You can't, right? So that's for me. Those are my eyes, if you will. That's the Holy Spirit. That's that's your ancestors' voice telling you to get up and keep it moving in this way. So, I just wanted to give that to you all and what it meant for me, as far as being in a bush with eyes and being fearless and remembering to, okay, it may be okay for a time, but having to get up and get out and bring your light to the world, because what is it to hide in the bush? I mean, and just I'm gonna land my plane there because we could talk about this for days. Just so many things are coming to me. My synapses is firing and I love this. So thank y'all for that opportunity. Gratitude.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. I love everything you had to share with us today. And, I hope that, those of us who are not able to speak today, that you're taking notes and learning something. And I hope that, those of us who are watching on YouTube, you're also taking notes and learning something. I have been learning a lot. And I can't wait to listen to this entire conversation. One of the things I've been enjoying lately is going back and listening to some of the previous conversations. Like yesterday, after the conversation where Chioma Sheri was our special guest, I listened to just the audio version of our session, and I loved it, And I take a long time before I listen to our own replays in its entirety, because I create it, so I don't want to be so much into it. But yesterday, for some reason, I just said, okay, let me listen to this whole show and just feel how much it has matured. Because for me, doing this for almost a year and a half, the Daily African Proverbs particularly, and also learning how to podcast, since 2020 February, it's been a lot of learning. So a number of the shows that we do are not perfect. There are so many problems that maybe the listeners don't realize, but I live it. So I always understand the, like Chef was saying, how much it stinks, when you have to stay there actually for a long time and figure out how to grow something like this so that it becomes meaningful, like it's becoming. And we would have not had people like Gogo Rutendo Ngara committing their time. Gogo Rutendo Ngara is always busy. She almost travels, across the world every week. And for some reason, every Thursday, she creates time for this until today, where it's only because of, power outage or power rationing in South Africa that she could not join us. So I just quickly want to give a shout out to Patty, Zanin, Patty and Steve, who are just right next to each other on Clubhouse. We've been trying to have a Zoom call for a long time. I just wanted to introduce you guys to each other here, and then we'll continue the conversation elsewhere. But both Patty and Steve and myself I've been talking about Miti ni Dawa, which is a tree planting initiative that we have in Kenya. So now that they're here, I just wanted to do that connection real quick. But I want to introduce an amazing friend of mine from Namibia, Joseph Kafunda, whom we've been hosting a really, really amazing session here on Clubhouse with. And we are resuming it next week, and we want you to join us for it. I won't say much. I'll just pass the microphone to you, Joseph. Share with us where you are and also what today's proverb means to you. Well, Joseph might be away from his phone, so we will continue on with our conversation for the next about 9 minutes before we wrap up our session today. Tomorrow, I think my guest is someone that most of you know. He attends quite a bit of our sessions here. His name is Andrew Bennett. I think he's Jamaican. Anyhow, for those who know him, he's our guest tomorrow, and I won't say much, but he's building a resort in Jamaica, and he's just doing some incredible things. And he helped us bring Ambassador Chiombori Kwao to Africa Day. It was through him that we were able to bring her as our keynote speaker. Anyhow, so join me tomorrow, same place, same time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we will continue building. Joseph, I just want to check that you're there before I continue on. Okay. Now, I just want to continue on, and I want to share just one or two pieces of information before we begin wrapping up our time together today. Number one, my book, Rooted in Love, was released on Monday, this Monday. I would love for you to check it out. The best way that you can do that is through the link on my profile on Instagram. I have a link tree, and through that you can easily get to the book. It's the top link on my link tree. My link tree is also on Twitter, so you can grab it there. And let me know what you think. If you want a signed copy, I can do that for you as well. Just send me a DM on Instagram, and I will be able to ship a signed copy to you. Every Wednesday here on the Daily African Proverbs, we give away 2 books every Wednesday, and we will continue giving away more. So join us on Wednesdays, spread the word. Yesterday, Censors won one of the books, and also there were we gave out 3 books, and this is a beautiful piece of work that took about 6 years, to bring to you. So check it out and leave your reviews on Amazon. I want to see who already has a copy of the book or who has interacted with it on the stage. Is there anybody who already has one? Just want to check. Jay, I'll just let you speak for a second. I don't know if you have it or not, but I'll let you speak for a second.
I was just going to say, I don't have the hard copy, but I do have the e-copy. And it is beautiful. Oh my gosh, the photos are magnificent.
For this to be your first book, you put a lot of heart and thought and work and preparation into this book. A lot of times, the first book that comes out isn't really the author's the best, but you put your best into this book, and it is amazing. It truly is. Um, so I truly hope everyone either gets a hard copy, a signed copy. I'm going to do my very, very best. This is like a radio station, Simon, where you win prizes on Wednesdays. So I'm going to do my best to be here on Wednesdays so that I can be one of the first to answer the questions. It's just a fun way just to be in this book and to participate in the Proverbs, but also to have that opportunity to win one of his books and a signed copy. It's really, truly generous. It's a gorgeous book. But once we're done talking about this, Simon, I hope you talk about, since Joseph wasn't available, talk about what's coming up next week and maybe even pin the link, what you and Joseph will be talking about, what your room entails. Thank you so much, dear brother.
Thank you so much, Jay. I want to talk about it. I'll pin it here in a moment. But I want to say that what you're saying about the book is true, and I am beyond the place of saying that I'm biased about the book. I'm proud of the book. I know where I grew up in Manyata, where Steve knows very well, and Stella is also in the room here. She knows very well what I'm talking about. And growing up in Manyata, and writing a book, or even being alive today, especially during the time we grew up, there is no joke. So being able to put this kind of work out there is a huge privilege, and I know that, and I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that this work is out there, but it's also because there's more work to be done. This work is just an indication of the amount of work that we have along the way. Because everything that is said in that book is like a vision board. There's a lot in that book that has happened in real life, and there's a lot in that book that is just about to happen in real life. So the original beginning of that book, if you read it, you learn that was a challenge for me to do a lot of the work that I currently do. So I took a lot of feedback for over 6 years. I began working on the book 6 years ago, but I first wrote the essay about this book in 2011. So it's, for me, it's just been interesting. I just didn't want to give up on it. I do have other projects that I'm hoping to turn into books, but this one was very special to me, and I wanted to put everything I have into it and just be patient with it and do it at this time. So I don't know a lot of what I'm doing. I'm learning and implementing because it's self-published as well. So I've learned a lot just in the course of the last 6 years, and I still know that I'm going to make a lot of mistakes along the way, but I'm proud of all those mistakes too, and so this is it's just the story of growing and being fearless, like we're talking about here today. So I just want to thank you all for spending your time with me. Thank you, Johnny, for joining me here as well. If you want to learn more about One Vibe Experience, that's primarily the conversation that we are having every Wednesday at 11:15 a.m. And it's a conversation where we are talking about an annual trip that I organized to Africa, but we also invite other travel experts from across Africa who are doing similar things, like Joseph. He has a travel company in Namibia. We have a Duoa from Ghana who has a travel company in Ghana, but she has worked with most of the major airlines. The last airline she worked with was Emirates, and so she brings great perspectives in our conversations. And now we are starting to bring in more guests from outside of our own circle, and we've been doing this for about 6 months now. So join us next Wednesday for that. And if you want to learn more, just DM me. But initially we were planning to do a trip in July of this year with One Vibe Experience, but we are now doing it in September. We are pushing it just a little further to allow us to plan better, and also to allow me to focus on producing Madaraka Festival, which is in August here in Seattle. By the way, save the date, it's August 13th and 14th. And I'll share the venue sometime next week. With that, we are right at the top of the hour, as they say, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the Daily African Proverbs. Today was amazing, and just take good care of yourselves. And I hope that as we end, you are going to leave our conversation believing in yourself, being prepared to continue working hard, and also to not be afraid to be different. Take care of yourselves.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington.